Hello, and welcome back to the Living in Alignment podcast. I am your host, Amy Starr Allen. Happy New Year. It's good to be back on the show and back in the game. I hope everybody had a great holiday season, and I'm just grateful to be back with you now. So just a quick heads up, I am recording this episode on a new software that I haven't recorded my podcasts on before. So hopefully this will all go smoothly. I just decided to try a new platform so that I can just easily create a video even when I'm doing my solo episodes and have some other features that I didn't have with the software that I was using before to make it really easy for me to repurpose my content into shorter videos and some other effects and things like that. So hopefully this will all go seamlessly, but just in case it doesn't, I just wanted to give you that heads up. So the topic for today that I wanted to talk about is how I use automatic writing to help me make decisions. And so automatic writing is something that I love. It's not something that I do all the time, but it's something that I do when I have a big decision that I'm having trouble finding the answer for inside of myself. I'm a big, huge, this by now if you've been listening to my podcast, that I'm, just a huge believer in just really trusting our gut and following our intuition. And I've been working for years on just really honing in on my intuition and getting better at just knowing clearly what to do in all situations, big and small. But sometimes I need a little help. And that's where automatic writing comes in and has been super helpful for me over the years. So if you're familiar with automatic writing, then, maybe you use it yourself and you already understand how it works. The way that I use it and what I mean by automatic writing is when I have a question that I'm having a hard time coming up with an answer for, what I do is sometimes I call on somebody specific, like one of my parents who are no longer alive, or I can call on my guides or my angels or God or, anybody. And I use my journal, and what I do is I write out the thing that I'm conflicted about. And then I just basically say, this is what's going on, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to turn the page and please let me know your thoughts. And I turn the page and my hands just starts writing. And what's really cool about this, I know this is kind of woo-woo, but if you know me, you know that that's how I am. But I will admit the first time I did this, I was skeptical. I was just like, really? But it really works. It's like you become a channel. And what's cool is when I'm calling on a specific person to ask questions to, it's their language and their words that come out. Like it's undeniable to me when I see the words on the page, like this is exactly how my father says it. This is what my father calls me. This is, the words that he used to use kind of thing, or the words that he would use in this situation. And so I'm a believer. You can decide for yourself if you're a believer or not, but this process has helped me so many times with so many big decisions, and it just helps me to get really clear. Sometimes it's more of a confirmation, like I know intuitively what the best answer is for me, but I'm doubting myself in some way. And then I do this process and it provides confirmation. Sometimes what comes out is not what I was expecting. It's like the opposite of what I was thinking I should do. But then when I read it back and I see what came through, it makes sense to me. So it's kind of like a way to access our higher selves and our guides and our angels and our deceased loved ones, or however we want to use it. So this is the process that I'm going to be sharing with you today. And I just thought it would be cool to just give you a recent example from my own life about how I did this. So this is going to be pretty personal because I'm actually going to read to you from my journal about how I went about a decision that I recently had to make. So if you've been following along with my journey at all, you might know that my house is on the market. And I do a lot of content on my YouTube channel about my digital nomad lifestyle. Basically, I travel a lot and kind of move around. I have lots of resources on there for how I'm able to do that without paying for accommodations a lot of the time. And I just feel really grateful in my life every day that I have a type of a business where I can work from my laptop, I can work from anywhere, so I can travel as much as I want. And not only that, but I have some streams of residual income so that even when I'm traveling, even if I'm not working, I still have income coming in and, commissions coming in that are recurring that just happen on autopilot while I'm traveling. So anyway, so I create a lot of content about that. And I just wanted to mention that because this lifestyle is, what I've been noticing is, even on my YouTube channel, I have a lot of tactical training, marketing training, and specific training about the types of, marketing strategies that I use and believe in and so forth. But I've been kind of documenting my digital nomad journey as well on YouTube. And that series that I've been doing on there, talking about, how, I really believe that we are meant to, as human beings, we're meant to be able to roam the planet freely, especially in this day and age with modern technology, there's so many different ways that we can earn an income and support ourselves without having to, go to a physical job that keeps us in one location. And I'm a huge, huge believer in this. So I feel like because of modern technology and some things that have happened, especially like during COVID, when all of a sudden everybody started working remotely and realizing that it is possible to do a job or earn an income from anywhere, people became more and more interested in the digital nomad lifestyle. And I'm finding that there is a lot of interest in this, and I want to, continue to help with any topics that have to do with this. And this is kind of along the lines of this, because the automatic writing example that I'm going to give you today is based on my house being on the market and an offer that I got on my house and not knowing whether or not I should take the offer. Okay. So before I read to you from my journal, I just want to give you a little bit of background about this particular situation. So my plan is I live at the beach right now, about a block from the beach in a beautiful beach town in North Carolina. And my plan is to move to the mountains. And I was very conflicted about this for a while as far as the timing of it, thinking maybe I should wait a little bit longer. I'm not going to get into a lot of my personal life on this podcast, but I was conflicted about the timing, and then I started to get some clarity that it was just time to get this ball rolling and to get on with my life, start my life over in a new place. And so I went ahead and put my house on the market back in July, and it's a very weird market right now. It's been really interesting. I put my house on the market and then I left town for a few weeks and there were 0 showings the whole time I was gone. And that was just kind of how the market was. And it's been very, very slow all along since I've had my house on the market. So I hadn't gotten any offers on my house, and my listing contract is actually expiring this month because it'll have been 6 months. So I was thinking, I'll probably just take my house off the market for a few months and then relist it in the spring when hopefully the, political landscape and the interest rates and all of the things that are going on that are keeping people from really being interested in purchasing homes right now, that has kind of slowed the market down. I'm hoping, by the spring, that'll be different. So that's been kind of my plan. I'll see what happens. I'll take it off the market if it doesn't sell, and then I'll relist it in a few months. And then just before Christmas, I was getting ready to leave on a trip for Christmas. I ended up getting an offer on my house. However, it was a really low offer, really low. And I felt conflicted about it because basically the people that were interested in my house said that they wanted to, it's a 3-bedroom house. They wanted to make it into a 2-bedroom house by combining 2 of the bedrooms to make a bigger master suite, which was going to cost $100,000. And so they offered me almost $100,000 less than what I was asking on my house. And my first gut instinct was no, I'm not going to pay for their renovations. I'm not going to, because they want to do, remodel the house. That shouldn't affect what I'm selling the house for. That's on them, right? So that's how I felt about it. And then there were some other things that, that came up back and forth in the conversation before the offer actually came through to consider. I knew they were going to put in an offer and I knew it was going to be low. So when the offer, like I wasn't like excited to get this offer just because I kind of had a feeling that it might not pan out. Because although I feel ready to move on, I also don't want to just give my house away for less than I know that it's worth, right? This is my nest egg, and this is my ability to buy another house after I sell this house. You know, my goal is to have enough money to pay off my mortgage and still have enough money left over to put a down payment on another house. So there's a lot of factors at play when it comes to the price and motivation and all of that stuff. So long story short, I got an offer. It was really low. It was kind of offensive. Even my realtor said, like, this is offensive, how low this offer is. And so, we countered with, an offer much closer to the original listing price. And, she asked me to communicate with them about my thoughts about their offer and my counter offer, which I did, in a diplomatic way. I just wrote a message and let them know, the deal. This is a really one of the most desirable neighborhoods on this island, and it's an amazing house a block from the beach. And I'm not desperate to sell it, so I'm definitely willing to hold out for the right buyer. I feel like because this house has always been a 3-bedroom house, it's been a 3-bedroom house the whole time I've owned it, and it's been a 3-bedroom house the whole time the previous owners owned it for like 12 years, and it was a 3-bedroom house, since it was built in the 80s. So I know that there's a family that will come along that wants the 3 bedrooms, which is, I think it's good to have 3 bedrooms at the beach, even if it is just 2 people in the household, because when you have a beach house, people want to visit, right? So I know for the right buyer, somebody will come along and be like, yes, this is my house, and put in an offer, right? So I'm not desperate to get rid of it. But I was leaving to go up to the mountains for Christmas, and I thought, well, if my house is under contract, then I'm in a position to put an offer in on another house while I'm on this trip, right? So there was that, right? So there was just a lot of factors going on. And we went back and forth a couple of times. They were not budging, and I was not, I was coming down slightly. They were coming up like so slightly, but there was no way that we were going to find common ground. Like, we were so far away from the middle of anything, you know what I mean? So I was trying to decide, like, what do I want to do? Do I want to just like give my house away and go and just be done? Or do I want to hold out for the right buyer? And there were other factors in play, and I was very confused, and I was having a hard time just really knowing what was the right thing to do. And so this is where I did the automatic writing exercise. So I'm going to share that with you now, just so that you can better understand how this works and how I got clarity in my decision from this exercise. And again, if you do automatic writing and you do it in a different way, that's fine. This is just the way that I do it, and I've been doing it this way for years, so I just thought I'd share this. So I just write in my journal. I always date it so that I can go back and remember when I go back through my journals and stuff. And like I said, sometimes I call on a specific person. Like, my dad is kind of a go-to. He was kind of my rock when he was alive. So much profound wisdom. He always had so much profound wisdom. And so I know that from the other side, he can still kind of guide me in that way. Sometimes I talk to my mom, and sometimes I do a more general thing, which is what I did here, which you'll see. So what I wrote is, I'm calling in all my guides, angels, my mom, and my dad to help me have clarity around the offer that I have on my house so that I know what the next step is for me. Do I continue trying to work with the offer or hold out for something else in the new year? Do I want to move now or a bit later? Is it better to wait until the market picks up? Would working with a different realtor make a difference? Will I get much more money if I wait? Will I have less guilt if I wait? What is in the best interest now and the highest and best for all scenarios involved? I'm going to turn the page, and please let me know your thoughts around these questions. I am open and ready to follow the guidance. Okay? And then I turned the page and I just started writing, and this is what came through. Dear Amy, you know what to do. You've known all along. Learn to trust your gut. The offer never made you feel good. You knew that immediately. You said you knew it was God's way of showing you your worth and your ability to hold out for what you want and not settle. Giving into this offer for you feels like lowering the bar to succumb to someone else's needs instead of your own. This is your nest egg. Don't let it go until it feels right on all accounts. If this buyer really wants to work with you, they can come back when they are in a position to bring more to the table. Just so you know, the buyer has already lived in this neighborhood, moved away, and really wants to come back. So they're like, they really wanted to be back in the neighborhood. And I knew that. And I feel like they were just kind of testing to see where, like my stance, how desperate I am. They really want your house. So if you stand for what you want, they will find a way to make it happen if it's meant to be. They are playing hardball. You don't operate with force or conflict anymore. So you can use this as an opportunity to practice letting go of the need to go into battle. So I've probably shared about this on the podcast, but I've been practicing my spiritual path for the last several years is about no force, no conflict, no interference. It's basically practicing the Tao Te Ching and allowing what is and not going into battle with anyone about anything. So that's what this is about. And it's reminding me of that, right? Because in the negotiation process, there's the tendency to want to like stand your ground or be right or make a point or whatever. And this helped me to remind me, like, I'm not doing that anymore. Like I gave that up several years ago and I decided, I'm all in with this and that's just how I live now. So this is reminding me of that when it says, so you can use this as an opportunity to practice letting go of the need to go into battle. You are done with that. The realtors are not done with that. Most people aren't, but you are. And this is true, right? This is a big part of my spiritual path. And most people don't operate this way, right? And I know that. But this is all stuff that I wasn't thinking about when I was trying to make this decision, right? So this helped a lot when this came through. So you are done with that. The realtors are not done with that. Most people aren't, but you are. When you let go and fully trust in us, we will take care of everything perfectly. And that's another thing, is remembering that, like in the Tao Te Ching, it talks about how everything, like there's a higher power, a force in the universe that makes everything work. Like it makes the trees grow. The leaves fall off in the fall. They come back in the spring. It makes the flowers bloom. It makes our hearts beat and our fingernails grow. You know what I mean? Like there's something bigger than us going on. And when we trust in that, everything works out better than we can plan or predict. So this was a reminder about that as well. It says, when you let go and fully trust in us, we will take care of everything perfectly. You don't need to worry or stress about anything. You are in our hands and we've got you. Everything is handled. All is well. Relax, let go, and trust. Something better is on the way. We love you. So when this came through, like I just wrote and wrote and wrote. I wasn't really paying attention to what was coming out. And then I went back and read it and I literally had tears streaming down my face and I knew the answer. Like this reminded me of everything that I needed to be reminded of. Like I'm done with this battle of this negotiation. Like I'm not interested in it. I'm not going to lower the bar for somebody else's needs, because they were admitting like they are on a tight budget. They want to do this renovation. They don't have a lot of money to work with right now because they have another house to sell and blah, 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 blah. They have a certain kind of loan that's harder to work, like all that stuff. I saw like, it's not anything that I need to worry about. Like that's their stuff. And I know what my house is worth. I know what I want to get from my house. It just made it really easy to know like, no, I'm done. They can come up to my last counter or walk away. It's up to them. And I just nicely just said, like, if, once your house sells, if you're in a position to bring a stronger offer, I'm here to entertain it, but I'm not desperate to sell my house and I wish you all the best. So this really helped me. So anyway, I just wanted to give you a little example of how I use automatic writing. And I've used this for so many decisions in my life. And like I said, I don't use it all the time. I don't want to overuse it. I mean, that's just kind of like how I feel. I feel the same way about like I have some really awesome oracle cards that I got in Sedona, this deck that I had wanted for a long time that I really love and respect. And I use it sometimes. I don't use it like all the time to answer everything that I need to know or whatever. Like it's just sometimes when I really want like a deeper answer or I'm really needing to access my higher self in a deeper way, I use tools like this. So I know some people probably do it every day. I don't do it every day. I like to use it like it's kind of my secret weapon, right? When I need it, I go there and I use it, but I don't use it every day. So anyway, so that's how I use automatic writing. That's how I, made it a very easy decision with no regret about this offer that I had on my house and felt really good about it because I felt like, I accessed my higher self and my guides and, everything that I needed to access to be really clear about my decision. So that's how automatic writing works. And meanwhile, my house is still on the market and it's okay. I am, riding it out until the end of the contract. And then I'm probably going to just, wait a while and put it back on the market in the spring. In the meantime, I'm getting ready to go on another trip, which is what I do. And it's great because I can travel without paying for accommodation. So I can travel as much as I want. Like I'm still paying my mortgage, but I'm not paying for accommodations in the places that I'm traveling to because of a couple of different situations. One is, and I've made some content about this on my YouTube channel that you can watch, and I'll put a link in the show notes if you want to learn more. But I have an app that I'm a part of for house sitting, which has been absolutely amazing. And a lot of the homeowners let me bring my dog, which is awesome because I can travel with my dog and stay in these beautiful homes. And it's basically a trade situation. So I don't get paid and I don't pay them to stay there. So it works out really well. And I love that. A lot of the people that travel a lot that need house sitters are people that, are really, some of them are really wealthy and a lot of them have, just gorgeous houses. And I prefer it over Airbnbs and hotels because I get to stay in a beautiful home that somebody actually lives in. You know how in Airbnb sometimes they say, like the kitchen is stocked, but it's not as stocked as it would be if someone actually lived there. It doesn't have like all the spices and all the cooking stuff and whatever. But when you stay in someone else's house, it has all that stuff. And I've just met the coolest people. This job that I'm getting to go do on this next trip that I'm doing is somebody that I've stayed at their house before and I absolutely love their house. It's like, it's in a country club on a golf course. It is gorgeous and it's totally my vibe. They have Buddha statues everywhere and it's just a really good vibe and I'm really excited to go back. And I'm going to be looking at some property while I'm there. It's up in the mountains. So that's the next trip I have coming up. So if you want to learn more about the digital nomad lifestyle and how I'm able to be job free and earn from anywhere in the world and how you can too, I will leave a link in the show notes for that as well so that you can learn, how I do it and how I can help you do it as well, if that's something that you're interested in. I'm excited, for this new year. I definitely have some different type of content and some different things that I'm starting to get involved with that I'm really, really excited about on more of a spiritual level. And so I'll be sharing more about that as we go. For now, I just wanted to, share this little exercise with you, tell you, Happy New Year, and let me know if you have any questions. And I will see you guys in the next episode. Bye for now.